You're listening to
Youth Ministry Answers.
From stuff you can use.
Stuff you can use.
Stuff you can use.org.
Welcome to Youth Ministry Answers. My name is Brooklyn.
And I'm Damien, and this is the podcast where you ask the questions and we help you find the answers. Ain't that right, Miss Brooklyn?
That is right. That's what we do here. Every single episode, we scour the earth for answers to your questions.
Yes, we do. We are searching high and low, Youth Ministry Answers family, for questions and all the things.
Yes, we're like little squirrels hunting for little acorns. Helpful
little
things
acorn.
that you can store up. Well, listen, though, we have found an answer. Today, there was a question. We are going to hear it here in a minute, but we found someone who is so trusted. A good friend, a colleague that we highly respect. He's going to be on the show with us. His name is Danny Sugimoto. And I'm super excited about it, thrilled.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to hear the question? Eye-opening conversation. Yeah, very eye-opening conversation. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this. Yeah, let's hear the question.
Right. So today's question we see around our Facebook group a lot, which is stuff you can use a youth ministry community if you're not in our Facebook group. But today's question is, how do I prep my students for college well?
How? This is a great question.
Yeah, it is.
I heard this question. I knew we were going to get into this conversation, Damien, and I immediately started to feel a small amount of shame. And then after recording, after recording with Danny, I knew why. At first, I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Then hearing Danny's thoughts, I was like, this is why. I haven't done a great job of this in our church plant, in my ministry, and in 2 decades. I think I've tried, and just it's something I lost track of often, is losing the connection with students and maybe not launching them well. So I felt the heaviness. This is a really good conversation. It's lighthearted. It's good. It's positive. But personally,
it's so good.
It was a little bit of a wake up call. Like, hey, come on. Yeah. You don't have to wait till tomorrow to help students transition well to college. So
a lot of fun opportunity. A lot of fun opportunity discovered. Yeah, a lot of opportunities to have fun and love well.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear this conversation, and I know it's going to help a lot of people. It helped me. So let's have it. Let's hear from Danny. All right. It's so good to be here, Damien. We have a special guest today on the podcast. His name is Danny Sugimoto.
Yes, we do. Danny Sugimoto. Yeah. Let's go.
And we get to work with him. What are you going to say?
I have my collared shirt on for this season because of the subject matter that we're going to talk about. I have my graduation best on. Look at me. I'm ready for the graduation season. Amen. Let's go. Let's go.
Is this what you wear when it's graduation season? I'm so clueless.
A brother might pull out a collared shirt every now and again. You know what I'm saying? Just to celebrate the graduates in my life. That's what I do.
I love this. Yeah, and you're right. Guys probably wear a collared shirt at graduation and girls wear a dress. That's probably why I'm clueless. That's good. Well, we are excited, though, to have Danny with us today. And he is someone we love getting to talk to because we get to work with him all the time here at Stuff You Can Use. But he has also spent a lot of years in youth ministry, and he worked for his college admissions department, helping freshmen transition from high school to college. So he got to see firsthand some of, the chaos, some of the beauty of growing up, and maybe even just some of the stuff that maybe churches were doing that they could do better. So I'm excited to see what we get into today. Danny, welcome to Youth Ministry Answers. We're so glad you're here.
Welcome, Danny.
Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
Yes,
good to see you, man.
What have you been up to?
Oh, just writing series. The same thing we do all the time here at the company. Just writing lots and lots of stuff. So
I love the things you write.
Blessing the people.
Doing our best.
Yeah, I have full. I talk about this to people, probably not directly to you, but I can say it to you now. I have these salvific moments when I'm reading anything you or Linda Moon write. It's like I'm hearing it for the first time. So thank you for your ministry. I know that it reaches teenagers and kids all over the world, but it also reaches me. So the one who reads it after you write it.
Yeah, I'm glad. Not necessarily our target audience, but glad that
it's blessed.
It blesses the proofreaders. It blesses everybody.
That's what we want.
Well, listen, we have got an amazing question today, and it's a question that I really want to learn more about because I have college-age kids of my own, and I don't know if I always did a great job of prepping our kids in our youth ministry for college. So we have this great question: how do I prep my students for college well? And I knew you would have some ideas. Damien and I have been talking about it, so we'd love to hear from you. Maybe a little bit about why this is something you're passionate about, and then tell us what you want to tell us. I think people are excited to have a listen.
Yeah, for sure. Well, just to give some more background information. I know you gave me a wonderful little intro up front, but I've spent 18 years. I'm 36 now. My birthday was just a couple days ago. I've spent 18 years. Thank you. Appreciate it. I hope everyone comments happy birthday in here. But yeah, I spent 18 years doing youth ministry. So most of that time was split between high school, middle school. I spent almost 10 years as a middle school pastor. But like you said, Brooklyn, I was an admissions representative for my college, Hope International University in Fullerton. Shout out to the Royals. And so I spent a lot of time like traveling to different camps, talking to teenagers, talking to seniors and juniors in high school about what college could look like for them. And in those conversations, just kind of learning what was working, what wasn't working, how they were feeling about school. So when I entered into like full-time vocational ministry, our high school pastor and myself, I was his associate, we were really intentional about making sure that our students who were leaving for college felt prepared outside of the walls of our church. Because like where we live in Temecula, like it's kind of like a bubble where the experience as a teenager is vastly different from just like neighboring Orange County or like southern like San Diego County. Like we have a unique perspective of the world, and we, what's called like the Temecula bubble, where students would leave and they would, go off to school because there's not much around here. And we would find out like, oh, I was not prepared for these conversations. I wasn't prepared for these different experiences, these different perspectives. So when we entered in and heard those things, we're like, we got to make sure that we are preparing these kids to leave. Because as any youth pastor knows, that transition from like your senior year of high school into your first year of college or your first year out of high school is such a huge like kind of sticking point for your faith. If you're prepared, you will typically continue on the habits that you've built in high school. But if you're not, you're going to leave your church, leave the people that have helped kind of shape your faith. And you're going to kind of just wonder like, what am I doing? Like, what is any of this even? And so it's a really important transition time that youth pastors have to be aware of, at least as their students grow up and become adults. We want to make sure that we are sending them into adulthood really well. So I've just got a couple of things to talk about to kind of smooth that transition. We can't guarantee that it's going to be perfect, but these are some things that we've experienced, that I've experienced, that I think are really helpful for students. So you ready to jump in? Great. So the first thing is obviously you want to prepare them before they graduate. If you are thinking about how do I help these kids, and it's like, right now, which is June, and that's too late. Like if you're only thinking about it right at the end of the school year, that's much too late for this year. You got to start planning a year ahead. Yeah, whoops, big whoops. Like you kind of missed it, and that's okay because you've got, that's the great thing about ministry is it's cyclical. You'll come back around in August. You'll have a brand new group of seniors. But the first thing that we'd want to do is make sure that you are helping them experience like big church, whatever you call that, your main adult service. You want to make sure that you are giving them an opportunity to just get like a little taste of it. One of the things that we did that we found really helpful was every fourth Sunday, we would take that Sunday off from youth ministry and send all of our kids to go sit together inside of our like adult worship service. The reason that is so helpful is I think everyone knows youth ministry is not like a real picture of what it looks like to have faith as an adult. Like you're playing dodgeball, you're eating pizza all the time. There's Mountain
what
Dew.
What are you talking about? That's been my reality.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a pastor, a youth pastor, yeah, that's your reality.
Not but if you're just
it's
Dodge Bill. It's Dodge Bills now.
Side confessional: how many of us went into youth ministry just so we could preserve that part of our faith? Like,
oh, absolutely.
I'm going to need dodgeball weekly for this to work. So
yeah, that was at least like 30% of my calling was like, I'm going to play dodgeball every week.
30%. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We bought the monster balls. You got to get the good dodgeballs, all of that. Yeah. But yes, but you're right. You're so right. This doesn't follow most people into their future. So
no, not at all. Yeah. So like the more you can expose your seniors, your whole class of students, your whole ministry to your senior pastor, your adult worship team, those experiences, the more likely they are to kind of just grow up and be like, this is normal. This is totally normal. Like, yeah, maybe the teaching isn't as dynamic as I want. Maybe the stories are about movies that were popular 30, 40 years ago and not right now. But the more you can kind of get them exposed to that concept, the easier that transition is. Because what we have found is students who don't ever get that experience of adult service go through youth ministry all the time. Typically, my church, we were meeting Sunday mornings and we were meeting Wednesday nights. So there was no opportunity for them outside of that to really connect with adults. And so it was just youth ministry all the time. And then they hit senior year and we're like, yeah, you got to go. Like, you got to leave this place. You're not in high school anymore. And they'd walk into that room and they go, oh my gosh, this is either boring. It doesn't relate to me. I don't understand these stories. I don't like this style of X, Y, or Z. So we wanted to make sure that we were getting them exposed early on from like the minute they entered the walls of our ministry all the way through. So we set a rhythm for ourselves to keep ourselves accountable. It also helps like your adults recognize like we have students in this church that are actively seeking God. It's not like youth ministry is somewhere else. It reminds them that everyone, no matter their age, you're all part of the same body of Christ. You're all part of this church that are together as a community trying to grow closer to God. So you want to make sure that they are experiencing big church in some type of rhythm. The next thing you want to do, obviously, is make sure that they are getting involved. Service, I think, it's how I got connected to the church at a really young age. The minute I started coming at like 9 years old, my mom is a very like sacrificial person. So she was jumping in, getting involved. My dad made connections with people. So I was like already used to this lifestyle of like, you go to church, you serve. So I was like doing communion because I was 9, 10 years old. So I'd be like gloved up in the kitchen, like pouring it in the little plastic cups that would break all the time. Like setting aside the wafers.
Hold on, whoa. So you were preparing communion at like 9 years old. I love this.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say 9?
We were like a church plant. So we were like renting a college campus, and it was kind of like all hands on deck, set up in the morning, tear down in like afternoon. So yeah, it was great. But that showed me.
Okay, wait. Can I just like say this? And maybe you're already saying this, and I'm just catching on because I'm a little slow. But basically, you're preparing. Your mom was preparing you for a faith outside of high school in that moment because she was helping you see what the church was beyond the walls of the youth ministry. So I just want to say that's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it's like, really cool to look back. And that's
really
I think,
cool. Like you were so involved.
Yeah. I think that's one of the best parts about it is when we do these things right, we start training, which I don't necessarily love training language, but we start training these people, like training students at a really young age. And then they can look back and be like, oh, that's so cool that my parent, my guardian, my grandparent, my neighbor was so caring of me and so loving of me that they started building these habits in me at a really young age. If you're familiar with our curriculum, that's why we have the 4 spiritual habits and we walk you through them because there are 4 things that kind of encompass all of what you do. Spend time with God, spend time with others, use your gifts, share your story. All of that gets wrapped up into pretty much everything that I'll be sharing today. So yes, get them involved. Get them stepping into the church, whether that is doing something like communion, whether that is having them like as an usher or greeter in the room, or like when people are coming in. Like it is so cool to have a high school student out at the front door of your church, just like greeting elderly couples, greeting young families, being a part of what your culture, what your community is doing. So you want to get them involved. And that means like helping them understand their gifts, whether that is through like a gifts assessment or just like, hey, what do you like? You like movies? Cool. I also like movies. Maybe we can start like a movie ministry. Maybe we can have you just like greeting folks as they come in, getting to know them. You can float around the ministry, whatever it is. You need to get them involved. So we've got help them experience big church. We've got help them get involved in your church itself. And then you also need to make sure that leaving feels normal.
Yes.
Where I live, most of our students either leave or they stay. I would say like 75% of students leave. They go to college somewhere else because we're kind of in between some really great schools. And then the other ones that don't, they stay and they stick around and they get involved. They get plugged in. Maybe they go to trade school. They might join like the military, whatever it is. But you need to make sure that leaving feels normal. You don't want these students looking towards the next chapter of their life and thinking like, I don't want to go. And you don't want to be like, you can't leave me. Like, I need you for X, Y, or Z reason. You want to make sure that it feels good. So like the language you want to do.
I might say that. I might say that occasionally to kids. You can't leave me. But it's
sure.
more of a, I love you. I'm I'm obsessed with you in a good, healthy way. But I also want you to go and do the things. So
Yeah, no,
you have to bring
definitely.
both. You can't just be, don't leave me, you can't leave, and suffocate them.
Yeah, don't be mean about it. Like, there is something nice to hear, like, I'm gonna be so sad when you're gone. But the language that we like to use is like, we are so excited to see where God takes you next. We're so excited for this next phase of your life, this next chapter. Like, we've prepared you really well, but then you have to make sure that like you're making them launch and you're setting them off well and that it feels good to them. So whether that is celebrating every time a student gets accepted into school, whether it's trade school, whether they get accepted into like a training program for whatever it is, you want to celebrate them and make sure that they feel good. You can also like tell stories about graduates who've been successful as they've launched. Maybe every once in a while you share a story about someone who like wasn't as successful. That's okay too. Like, the good stories are just as important as like the bad stories. But you also like need to acknowledge how much we grow when we take a next step. When we step outside of our comfort zone, when we go into the next chapter, even if it's unknown, like, there are so many stories in scripture of people who don't know what's ahead of them and they take a step of faith and God leads them through in ways that they never could have imagined. And that's great. We need to celebrate those things. We need to make sure that leaving feels normal. But then we also, on the other hand, need to make sure that being a college student in your church feels normal too. If you don't have a young adults ministry, that's a gap. If you go from high school to like 30, 40-year-olds, in my opinion, that's a problem. You need something for people in that young adult age because it is such a unique life experience, especially now, like in a post-COVID world where remote work is a thing. We're more connected than ever. Social media is whatever your opinion is on it. There's a lot happening at this age and this juncture of life. And so you need a space for those students, those not only students anymore, those young adults to interact with each other. Because me as a 36-year-old, I don't have the same experience as a 19-year-old. And it'd be crazy if I did. I have a different life story. I have a whole different thing going on. I have 2 young kids. They most likely don't. You need something that's going to bridge that gap and get them talking together. And then you need to find someone to lead that ministry who understands and is willing to sit and listen. Because these are full-fledged adults. Like, yes, they make silly decisions. Yes, there are certain like cultural perspectives of what it's like to be a young adult in the world, but they still matter. And so your church needs to invest in these people. Like, if you want your church to grow, if you want your church to stay healthy, if you want to maintain, longevity in your city, you need to invest in these people. So like, if you're a youth pastor hearing this and you're like, man, like, I've just been trying to do this, like, this is a great vision cast for your lead pastor, for your executive board, for your elders to say like, we should target these folks but like also have a plan about it. Don't just like say things like, you should do this.
That part.
It's not a marketing plan. It is an intentional decision to make space for communication and touch points. And like, hey, sometimes kids go away and they feel like you've forgotten them completely because there's no plan in place to just send a postcard or check in or send like $5 for Chick-fil-A or something, like these kids are out there with a meal plan and that's all they've got. So I think, like, it's more than marketing. It's more than a calendar date. It's kind of like an internal decision to not miss a whole generation in your church. That's totally. So good.
Yeah. So like, it can be as simple as just having a small group that reads the Bible together and talks about it. Like that was our model. It was very, very simple. And if you don't have the staff, the capacity to do this, find churches in your area that do, and like be comfortable with saying, we don't offer this for you, but this church does. And that also means like, pay attention to what's happening in your people, in your community. There might be other churches that do things better than you, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to excel at one thing and to know like, this isn't our target, this isn't what we're doing, but you have to make sure that you are helping these folks transition to the next phase of life and making being a college age student in your church feel normal, feel good, and feel welcome, honestly.
That's good.
So that is what you can do before they graduate.
So you're telling me, Danny, real quick, you're telling me that my 20-year-old and my 19-year-old are full-fledged adults. Full-fledged
adults, man.
I blacked out after that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. They're like, their brains aren't fully developed, but they are full-fledged adults.
Children become adults, Damien.
They do. They're my babies, though. They're taller than me and they tower over me, but they are my babies. But no, I appreciate this. I really do appreciate this, Denny.
Yeah.
Like firsthand, I can see where my sons have benefited from partnering, volunteering with some of the adults as they were graduating out of high school. I remember having some really good conversations of them connecting with people outside of their group and really being seen, feeling like they were being seen for the first time with by adult men. Cause my sons, they're boys and they, growing up and they got to see what it felt like to be acknowledged like, hey, young men of God, like it felt good to them. It gave them a confidence. So I really appreciate that partnership because I've actually had the opportunity to see that firsthand and how it benefited my sons in their faith growing up and leaving the youth ministry. So thank you, man.
Yeah.
So that first one.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Brooklyn. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, before we go on to this next point, I want to make this quick, but you said something a few minutes ago about parents, guardians, grandparents, aunts, mentors. You included a whole bunch of types of people, and I really appreciated that. And I wanted just to circle back to that note because not every teenager in your church has a traditional family structure, and they're not always going to feel involved by a parent. They might feel involved by the person who connected them to your church. So it is a little bit bigger than, just talking to the moms and dads and figuring out what you can do. You kind of have to get to know the teenager and figure out where they are and who they're connected to. So there is a little bit more of a nuance to this. It's not just straightforward. The parent brought them to their minute, when they're 3, the parent usually drops them off. When they're 20, it's more of you have to kind of get to know. So I really appreciate all the ways that you invite us to involve and prepare them before they graduate. So what's number 2?
Yeah. Number 2, if we talked about what to do before they graduate, number 2 is to prepare them for after they graduate. And a lot of this too, like jumping off what you were saying, Brooklyn, how we communicate at this time is really important too, because you're right, it's not just parents. So when you're sending emails, when you're sending communications on social media, make sure you're as inclusive of whatever this family might look like as possible. We had students in our ministry whose parents were not involved, but like a best friend brought them. And so like that was their connection to us. So we would communicate directly and make sure that like we knew best friends' parents are the ones that are going to be bringing this kid in. So every time you're communicating, especially at this season, which is so special for our students, but it's also special for those families, and it's a huge milestone. So make sure that as you're communicating, you're including everybody as possible. So it's grown-ups is a great one to do, to include kind of all the parents, all the adults in their lives. So if you're going to prepare them for after they graduate, one of the things that we like to do is to talk to them about like necessary life skills. So when our students graduated, they were done with school, we gave them kind of one more summer with us to kind of wrap everything up. And in that summer, when we'd break for small groups, there'd be times where we would invite somebody into the ministry to talk to our students about just like practical skills, like what it is to be an adult. So that could be like, here's how you create a budget. Here's how you apply for a job. Like, here's how you have a conversation with somebody. We would teach them like really simple things like time management. And so if there is somebody in your church that does those things really well, whether that's like an executive somewhere or literally any person who's ever held a job and been like a functional adult, you can clear them, screen them, obviously, and then have them come in as like a guest and just let kids talk to them. It could be like a small business owner who's just like, here's my experience, here's my story, here's how I figured out how to do these things. So you want to make sure that they're getting the practical training they need for the next phase. When I graduated high school and went to college, I moved 400 miles away to Southern California from Sacramento. I had no idea how to cook. I didn't know how to do anything. I just like showed up to college and was like,
that's okay.
Cooking class?
That's okay.
Few basic recipes, few basics. That's good.
If somebody would have done that, I would have learned how to cook. But so is that my excuse? It's the church's fault that I don't know how.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that that's the truth, but hey.
There's just opportunity there. Fine. There's an opportunity.
There's an opportunity for someone like me to cook.
There's an opportunity. Yeah. So like, no, but that's I moved away. Idea. Yeah, I moved away with no real skills. I played music and baseball in high school. That was it. I got through college pretty okay, and then when I graduated college and like moved into an apartment, it's like, oh, how do I cook? Like, I can't just eat takeout all the time. So there are like necessary life skills that I just didn't get because I was focused on other things in high school. So we want to make sure that we are setting them up to be an adult because, it's not just about spiritual faith. Obviously, that's very important. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it's like you want them to survive. You want them to be okay as they move into a new reality, a new world, something that might be scary for them. So you want to make sure they have the necessary life skills. So whether that is once a month, you have somebody come in and talk to them and they get to ask questions, whether that is you connect them to like masterclass or like other learning websites, whether that is you just write a book yourself and say, here's my book on life skills, and you give it to them as a graduation gift.
Oh my
Whatever
gosh,
it is.
no,
That's
really, you can do
fire.
that. No, I did
Wow, I
that on
love that.
Post-it notes. It was not a book. It was far from it. There was no binding, but I put on Post-it notes to my daughter, like how to be a good bathroom sharer. Because, we had
Mhm.
been sharing a bathroom in our family, in our house, and I was just like, I don't think I've ever asked her to do anything like,
Yeah.
empty the trash occasionally.
Mhm.
So I think I just wrote little Post-it notes, and I don't know if she ever used them, but what a cool idea to maybe make like a little folder and with like Post-it notes on each page or something, or maybe just print it out like a regular person.
Mhm.
With little tips like how to be a good
Yeah.
roommate,
How to be a good roommate.
how to order, or like things like how to go into a bank and get money. Stuff like that is so freaky to people who've only done things online. Going to a post office, mailing something. We take
Mhm.
a lot, well, I say we, my people in my age group, we have like an analog, digital brain, but our kids have never done any of this before. They have no idea how money goes in and out. So, this is genius. Can we have a
Yeah.
follow-up episode, like, to just make this stuff? I think we should do
I know
that.
that's really cool. That's dope. I
Anyway,
like
I'm
the
sorry.
fact that we're real quick, Danny. This blesses me because it kind of can be your last opportunity to make some of this mundane stuff in life fun, right? Like
Mhm.
you're doing it with a group of seniors that you're leaving with, maybe even if it's like one or two friends that were in your youth ministry and now they're seniors. Hey, we're creating a budget. We're making it fun. We're learning how to cook. We're making it fun because
Yeah.
these things are not fun when you get older and you're in it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh Lord, we got to do a budget. Oh Lord, I can't eat McDonald's again. So I love that it's
Wait,
kind of
what?
I mean, chicken nuggets are delicious, but I love that it's the opportunity to kind of like make these mundane things fun and make it enjoyable. Like that's kind of what I got out of that last part. I was like, dang, okay, I write in checks. Who does that nowadays? But it can be fun. Let's go. So thank you, Danny. That's good stuff.
Of course.
Man. That's good stuff.
Of course.
I get excited. All right, give us the follow-up. Next one.
Yeah. So you want to teach them practical life skills, and then you want to like celebrate them really well. This is your opportunity. Like you said, it's your last chance, right? It's your last chance to have fun. It's your last chance to send them off. Your only chance to really send them off. So you
Okay, I'm
want to
gonna
make
cry.
sure, you want to make sure you're sending them out really well. So you want to like honor their growth. If this is a student you've had all throughout your ministry, like talk them up, brag about them a little bit, not just to their face, to your ministry, to their grown-ups
Behind their
in their
backs.
lives, to your senior pastor, to your elders. Like talk these students up, celebrate them well. You want to talk about like their contributions to the ministry. If they've been like a student leader or they've been a greeter, they've run games for you, they've been like a connector piece who just like welcomes people in and gets to know them really well. You want to talk about their relationships, how those have grown, their faith journey, their spiritual journey, how that's just like exploded, hopefully, under your leadership. And so you can do this at like a senior dinner where you just have dinner together, like a nice fancy thing. Everybody dresses up. You do like spaghetti. I don't know. Spaghetti always seems fancy, but it's like the messiest food.
Meatballs.
You can do like
spaghetti.
Yeah, meatballs everywhere.
Garlic bread.
You can do like a special dinner for them. You could do like a senior trip or retreat. We would take all of our students that graduated if they wanted to. We would take them to houseboats. So we would go drive like 7 hours north, and we'd spend a couple days on the water. And then when we got back, like we'd leave Saturday or Sunday. We would come back Wednesday, and we would drive straight from houseboats at like 7 a.m. all the way down to Temecula. We'd open the doors of the church. We'd still have youth group that night. And we would just have them share about their experience. And it would be like their final last hurrah where they get to share their own stories. So you want to make sure that while you are celebrating them and you are honoring them and their growth, that you're also giving them the chance to be like, this is my experience at this place. This is why this youth group is so special. And then on top of that, obviously, you've got your personalized gifts. Hopefully, like outside of the world of personalized Bibles. Bibles are very digital now, but you want to make sure that you get them something that's special, like a little token that they can remember your ministry, your people by. And then lastly, obviously, if you can, get letters from small group leaders. One of the things I've heard about people doing is making like care packages for them and putting those in there, something that they can have that they just read when they're feeling kind of lonely. But you want to make sure that you're celebrating them well, that you're sending them off with like a big kind of like, we're so proud of you and you're so great and you're going to do well. And then after that, you need to help these students leave. Leaving
this is the hard part.
This is the hard part. It's hard for everybody.
It is.
No.
Transitions are tough. Transitions are super hard. If it were up to me, students would stay in youth ministry forever, and like adult ministry would look more like youth ministry. But the reality is,
I'm not gonna lie. I thought about seriously having my children in Brazil and moving there, because in Brazil it tends to be, and maybe in other cultures as well, it's like totally acceptable for a kid to stay a kid until they're like 26, until they're married. It's cool to like live with your parents. It's fine. It's like a blessing. And I was like, maybe we should move there, and then all of this will stop. They have to leave.
All of this will stop.
But no. We are here, and you could be listening from anywhere, and so maybe this transition happens later, and that is so beautiful. But most of the time, they grow up and they need to go. And celebrating them is both beautiful and bittersweet, but you got to do it because they're not going to come. They may not even move in your house again. Our daughter moved out freshman year, and this summer, when I thought she would move back in, decided to stay, and not move back. And that's something I'm personally processing right now in this moment. You just don't know, how often you'll get to see them. So you want to make sure you are celebrating, being specific. Every phone call, every text, it's so sacred, because you really don't know the space that will be between all of that. So anyway.
Yeah. I mean, leaving's hard. It is the hardest thing for students. You are looking forward to what's next. Like for me, as an 18-year-old, when I was going to college, it was like, this is so cool. Like I'm going to live in Southern California. There's great music. There's like good venues. Like I'll make friends, blah, blah. But then as an adult now, thinking about my younger kids, growing up and like leaving our home in 10 years, it's like, oh, what a bummer. So, but at the same time, like I want them to do it.
It's beautiful. Yeah. The most beautiful bummer you will ever have.
Yeah.
A beautiful bummer.
Put it on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt.
But yeah, you have to help them leave. If they could, they would stay forever. Like, hopefully your ministry is a place that students love to be. They love being there during your midweek gathering or your Sunday mornings, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They love you and your team. They don't want to go. But it is your job as a leader. It is your job to eventually kick these kids out.
Okay, hey, Danny, can you say that one more time for the youth ministers in the back of the room? Tell them one more time. Let them know that line again. Hit them with that line again.
It's your job to kick them out at some point. They can't stay forever. And there's a few reasons for that. Like one, you need to launch them. They need to launch themselves. It's not even you doing anything. It's them taking onus on their life and launching themselves into the next season. They have to do that. You have to eventually leave the nest. You can't stay forever and have a specially curated thing, because I can tell you a lot about your faith, but at some point you need to take ownership and own that thing as it moves into the next season of your life. You also need them to leave so that the new seniors, the new students that are coming of age, can step into their own roles and have their own place and establish their own culture, their own perspective, their own relationships as the seniors and the top dogs of the class. So you need to make sure that they have space to do that without feeling kind of squashed in their ability to grow with this new class. Your ministry also needs boundaries. Boundaries are so good. They're so important for ministry. So you need those. And then just moving on is a really good thing to do. It's a part of growth. It's a part of how relationships work. It's a part of the cycle of life, the circle of life, if you want to Disneyfy it. It doesn't mean that you are going to like ghost these kids. And it's like, once you're out my doors, I don't care about you. But it is I care about you so much that I want you to go into this next chapter of life. So hopefully you are telling them repeatedly about this transition. Once they graduate and you're doing your small group with maybe just your graduated seniors, you're saying, hey, on August 1st, we're done. Like on August 1st, last Wednesday, we're going to celebrate you. You can tie this into how you celebrate them. Have your whole ministry pray for them on that last night. But then after that, you're done. You got to go somewhere else. One of the rules that we had was once you left, you could not come back to serve until the next school year. So Obviously, we love these students. We want them to be a part of our ministry. If they're staying local, we definitely want them to get plugged in. But we made a boundary that you had to wait a full year and kind of have that time away, have that new perspective before you could come back in and join our high school ministry. So yeah, you want to give them practical skills, you want to celebrate them, and then you want to help them leave. Those are all part of training them after they leave your ministry, after they leave and graduate on their own. Which takes us into our final one, which is prepare them to take steps on their own. One of the things we did that I still love to do is help them find a church community. If you know the student is going to Arizona State, you can go online. There's this great thing called Google. Some of you are even using AI to find searches. And you can say, hey, I need churches in a 30-mile radius from this place that they're staying. If they have their housing already, great. If they have a car, even better, because you can kind of expand that a little bit. But you can get them a full list of all the churches that are in the area that are similar to you. This is going to require some research on your end. You can't just like pull up a list of names and be like, this church is good. This is good enough. You have to dive in, like visit their websites, listen to their sermons. You can categorize them by like, these churches are the most like our church. And it's like, 4 or 5 churches. These churches are less like our church. And it's like 4 or 5 other churches that are maybe outside your denomination, outside your experience. Like if you're liturgical, these are non-liturgical, like you can do whatever. But you want to help them find that community. Part of that too is also maybe reaching out to other youth pastors and saying, hey, I've got a kid going to this school in Colorado. Do you have any other students that are going to this school? And like create your own network. And then maybe with their permission, like link those students together and say, hey, this person is also going to Colorado State. Do you want to get to know them? Cool. You have a buddy now. When you get out there, you're not just showing up on campus with 1,000 other people and you're just confused and alone. And you're just like, I don't know how to do this. This is overwhelming, because it is overwhelming. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of freedom. But it can be, nice to have a friend with you to like help make that transition a little easier. So you want to help them find a new church community wherever you are, wherever they're going, rather. Whether it's near campus, similar to your home church, different style of tradition, something within walking distance would be preferred, but that's not always as accessible. You can't assume they have a car. So maybe if they don't have a car and they don't have friends with a car, you can look into like public transportation options and find something that's just like really close to a subway or a bus line. Put in that work for them, because that communicates to them and to their grownups, like, you matter to me, and I want to make sure that this isn't just like a place where you cut off and we're your only church ever for the rest of your life, but that you can go on your own and find a community elsewhere, because that's really important and beautiful.
Yeah. If anyone listens to every one of our podcasts, which if they do, please tell us. I'd love to know who you are. But if you're listening and you've heard me say this before, I'm not apologizing. There are things called trains. I love the Amtrak train. It gets my kid from 4 hours away to here for $20. There are public transportation opportunities that you could even invest in as a ministry. You could say, hey, I know you can't fly home or you can't get in a car, you don't have a car, but here's a bus ticket or a bus, gift card. Maybe if you do a care package, maybe think about stuff like that. We have a small church, so we only have a few young adults to really focus on and take care of. And one of the things we like to do is give them opportunities to serve in other areas that aren't the youth ministry. So like in the preschool or in like a bigger church initiative or some sort of outreach, so that there isn't a big gap if we don't have something set up specifically for them. So helping them find a new church community where they live, but also helping them find some touch points with your own church when they come back on breaks, or if they want to come home and they can't come home, maybe part of that ministry connection is you helping them get there. And I know that's like a big thing to say when people fly all over the place to go to different schools, but it doesn't say love more than to say, I want to help get you home. So I just want to throw that in there, because people have helped my daughter get home. I have helped other people's kids get home. It's a big deal for them on the holidays if everyone's going home and they can't. So it might be really beautiful for you to sponsor like 5 or 6. If you don't have students of your own that are in college and your church is really small like ours, you could go around to the colleges and be like, who's stuck here, and help them out. Get them a train ticket, do something cool like that, because it will literally change their whole like feeling, how they'll feel loved, they'll feel seen and equipped to get to a place that makes them feel better. So I just wanted to throw that in there because
That's good.
it's not just like inviting them to a community, it's being a community when they're looking for one. And that's a really beautiful point. So thanks, Danny, for that. So help them find a new church. I like it.
Yeah. And then the last point is stay in touch, but like, don't be weird about it. You don't want to kick them. You don't want to kick them out. And like, that's it. You want to be in relationship with these people, hopefully for their whole lives. And so it is communicating with them and saying like, once you graduate, these are like my boundaries. I will, check in with you after a month. I will check in, every couple of months, but then it's on you. And if you want to continue like talking to me, great. I'm always here to help. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to, problem solve with you. You're still like a pastor to them, but you don't want to be weird. Like, don't text them every week. Like, what's going on? Like, what's the cool party or whatever. If you have questions about like trends, cool. Hey, I want to do this ministry like series. I want to do a teaching series on XYZ. Like, do you think that's relevant? Cool. You can use them as sounding board. But just like, don't be weird. Like, just have a boundary. Have a personal boundary for yourself. Have a personal boundary for these students. If you want, you can send them like a care package, like I talked about earlier, with like some of their favorite snacks. A message from their small group leaders saying like, "Hey, we miss you." Maybe you get like a picture of the group. Whatever. You can find ways to stay in touch, stay connected with them. That goes beyond like texting them all the time. So keep in touch. When they're back, like make sure that you see them, make sure you say hi, give them a hug or whatever, be a part of their lives, celebrate them, ask how school's going, be really intentional with the questions you ask them. Like, what's going on? What are you loving? What do you miss? Don't just be like, it's so good to see you and then move on. Because they can feel abandoned in that moment where it's like, everyone has moved on. Life is so different here. Like coming home as fun and sweet as it can also feel a little bittersweet, because you're watching people with new relationships and you're kind of on the outside looking in. But if there's an adult who cares about you and is like, hey, like come and see what we've done. Come and see how we've grown. Come and see like the history and the legacy that you've helped establish and plant here. That could be really fun when they come home to visit too. So we've got all the different ways you can help them before they leave for school, after they leave for school, and how you can help them take next steps on their own as they graduate high school and head into college or whatever's next.
Danny, you're breaking my heart in a good way. I'm so broken by this. There's so much work we can do in this area. I'm just thinking about it as a mom, but also as a pastor and a leader of a church. It's like we miss a lot of opportunities when we think just because we can't see someone that we don't, that we don't have a connection or an opportunity. We absolutely do. And all of these things are great practical things that we can do. And like you said, snacks are holy. I mean, I don't know if you said that, but
I didn't, but that's okay.
I like that it's been said. I do like that it has been said.
Snacks are holy. And if you don't include them in your ministry, you should, because snacks just make people feel better. And I think at the very least, we know how to buy a snack, right?
Yeah.
And send a snack and follow up with a text. So it's not just, why am I getting snacks in the mail? Don't be weird. Like you said, just send them and say, I sent them. and it will be well. But I love this conversation. I know, Damien, we're both in a season where we have kids that are in college and kids that aren't. And Danny, you've got little ones growing up. So you're probably saying all this knowing what's coming. We've been there before too. And then there's a bunch of people listening who have it's their first few years in youth ministry, and this is their first time having seniors graduate. And I will just say to those people that are new, it is heartbreaking. It's not easy to let them leave and encourage them to leave, because maybe you've grown closer to them and really like them a lot, and maybe they feel like a support to you as well. But the whole point of youth ministry is to help them grow. So these are some really great ways for them to do that. Wow. Thank you so much, Danny, for answering our question. I feel like I could sit here and hear you talk about it for much longer. Maybe we'll do a follow-up episode.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Always down.
Maybe.
I love it. So prepare.
No, really. What were the points? I wrote them down. Prepare them before they graduate. Prepare them after they graduate. And then finally, like, prepare them to take steps on their own, because that's what they're able to do and should do. And we should celebrate that. I like it. All right. Well, Danny, thank you for helping us so much. You are always such a source of wisdom and honesty, and I appreciate it. I will be starting a young adult ministry in my church very soon. I'm like, wait, we don't have one. What the heck? So I'm over here just listening, taking notes, and I'm sure that this question is, around on the streets of youth ministry everywhere. So thank you. And if you have a question, you're listening, and you have a question and you'd like for us to dive into the answers, just let us know. Go to yma.show. There's a place you can upload a question via video or just your audio, or you can just maybe email it to us. We don't care. And we'll do our best to find the answers you need. So thanks for being on the show with us, Danny.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Danny. You rock, man. Such a great opportunities you've highlighted. Thank you, man.
All right. Take care. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
All right. Bye, fam.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, before we sign off today, Damien, we've got to have a little bit of a catch up. What are you into lately?
What am I into? Well, I am. Okay. So this is crazy. Okay. Because I've been getting a lot of text messages from friends and stuff, and Instagram stuff from friends, because it's real out of my comfort zone, Brooklyn. It's really out of the ordinary for a brother. So 3 times a week, I have been waking up at 5 a.m. It's crazy. Already. I know. You're like, dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's bananas.
Me.
Absolute bananas. But my body's adjusting, Lord help. So 3 times a week, I'm waking up.
His eye is twitching. For those of you listening, his eye is twitching.
My eye twitched 3 times and said hello. So I'm waking up 3 times a week at 5 a.m. And I go to, there's a beach about 15, 20 minutes away called Fletcher's Cove in Solana Beach here in San Diego. And I meet my life group guys, like 6 of us men, and it's a group, and we're like training to be men of God. That's what we're doing, training to be men of God. So we do breath work in the morning. We do a few minutes of breath work mixed with prayer, and then we hit the beach and we're doing we have sandbags. We're like lifting sandbags and sandbag. Like we're
on purpose?
We're intentionally doing this on the beach, and then we end it with what has become my favorite thing to do is we do an ocean plunge. So it's like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning when the workout's done, and we all celebrate. We run into the water and we just get into the water. And my friends are like, "What is wrong with you?" One of my friends texted me. He said, "Hey man, blink 2 times if you need help, because what is happening?"
I am proud of you and fear for your life.
Just, YMA family, pray for your boy, okay? Amen? Pray for your boy.
I'm
just pray for your boy.
For waking up. Waking up is half the battle, just getting out of bed.
It is.
I know. Once you wake up, though,
I don't want to have to tell my guy, his name's Nick, he leads it. I don't want to be like, "Hey man, I couldn't make it," so the accountability helps.
That's the worst.
Yeah, that's what I'm into. It's been fun. It's been new. And it has made me value sleep a lot more.
That's good. Yeah, I've heard all sorts of good things about brain health and what a cold plunge can do to your brain. And occasionally I can't really get near that. I don't have the tolerance. However, I can do a cold shower after something for a second. So I'm proud of you, because that's a huge thing to be able to do that. And to even get in the ocean knowing what's in there. I don't know what's in there, but good job. Because in San Diego, it's not cold, 78 degrees. It's cold. That water is freezing.
It's cold water.
My first time, I'm an East Coast girly who our water doesn't dip below. I mean, it is a warm bath in the summer. So when we went out to San Diego, I was like, what? How do people? And then I realized they have to wear they have to be a SEAL. They basically have to put on a whole wetsuit and a hood and gloves and everything to not freeze to death. So I
have all of those things, but I don't use them on these days.
I'm so
just
proud
want you to
of
know. Yeah,
the
it's
lifting,
cool.
the waking up, the getting cold on purpose, great. I feel
the
like
lifting,
my
the
update,
waking up, the getting cold on purpose. That's all. That was so good.
I feel like my update is so lame compared, but I'm into old music right now. So I've always been an Earth, Wind, Fire is one of my favorite bands of all time, because my dad loves it. I love it. It's particularly important because there is a ride at it's at Epcot at Disney. It's called Avengers. And there's like a song cycle. And if you get September, it's like the best day ever. When you ride.
Yeah.
So I've been on, Earth, Wind, Fire for a really long time. Well, recently my dad visited from Ohio and he put me back on REM. I'm
Oh, really?
like obsessed. Yes. No, just listen to this. Losing My Religion, Everybody Hurts, Shiny Happy People, Man on the Moon.
Everybody hurts.
Oh my gosh, sometimes. Oh my gosh. So anyway, it's like, it's the end of the world as we know it. Every single song is a banger.
The end of the world.
Yes,
I didn't even know that I knew all those songs.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody
It's so
even
good.
knows
It's
that we
so
know.
good. It's so good.
The One I Love.
Yeah.
This one goes out to the one I love. Anyway, it's Orange Crush, Drive. I mean, like, I'm literally what? So anyway, I'm having a revival with REM.
love
That's
it.
what I'm into.
I love it.
Just like, why have I been sleeping on like Dire Straits, all that? It's like kind of REM every single song. I don't know why.
No
No
skips.
shade on Dire
No
Straits,
skips.
but like, it's like, what? Every song. How did you do that? So anyway, that's what I'm into.
That's
I know
awesome.
we've had some fun today with Danny talking about college stuff, talking about teenagers and college students and how to be a better church and a community to kids who are growing up. Maybe get to know what they're listening to. Maybe find out if they're doing cold plunges. I don't know. Get to know them. Love them. And if you have your own questions, don't be afraid to ask. We may not know the answers. Probably don't know many of them. We do know some. And we'll always bring in a guest.
Yeah,
we know some that do. We will always connect you to the ones that need connected to you. And that's what we do here.
That's what we do.
So yeah, submit your answers. Oh, wait, I said that wrong. But if you have answers, submit those too. Submit your questions. That's what I'm trying to say. yma.show. Can ask, and we will try our best to deliver. All right. Well, it was fun to hang out today, Damien.
It was fun, Brooklyn. It was fun. It was a good time. Great conversation. Yeah. YMA family, get out there, get active, listen to some good music. Amen. And submit your questions.
Yeah. If you're still here, thanks.
If you're still
here,
thanks for hanging.
Okay.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye, fam. Have a good one.